Hey, Tiffany. How are you, my dear? So glad you got on the scope. And as we're waiting for people to ping on, I should also mention to all the replay viewers, thank you so much for watching and checking out the replay. So glad that you're on. I told you guys yesterday, I told you guys yesterday that I felt a two-scope spirit coming on. Hey, Crystal. All you ladies that's on the scope. And as we wait for people to ping in, it's not gonna be a long scope, probably like 15 minutes. But I guess I should have grabbed a couple of things before I even got on here. Let me go to my next room here because I want to share a couple of things with folks that's on or may not know who I am. So let me just take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Jill Bullock, and I'm one of the founders of DetourMovement, Inc. And we believe when you renew your mind, you transform your entire life. So, hey, what I also want you to know about me is that I'm an author, and I wrote the book, The Biggest Lies Women Believe About Men Dating Themselves, Discovering the Truth to a Fabulous Life and Fabulous Relationship. And actually, it's an Amazon best-selling book, so I'm so excited about that. So just want to share with you on that. That's the book there. Hey, how are ya? Hey, Arlise, so glad you're on here. Also, I am the co-creator, if you will, editor of The Biggest Lies Women Believe, The Transformational Process According to Proverbs for the Next 31 Days, right? This is a transformational devotion for women. Treal wrote this book. I co-created it, if you will. And also Treal wrote the book, Rolling with the Punches, Learning to Triumph in the Midst of Adversity. Okay, and this book is to deal with anything you're trying to triumph over adversity. You need to take a read of that. You can get any of those books at DetourMovement.org. And we're also the host of the Fabulous I Am Women's Conference, which is coming up in August, and we're so excited about it. So, hey, ladies, I just wanted to share with you a little bit of what I've been learning and experiencing. Tiffany, I know you have been on a journey with me since the Fabulous 21-day Fabulous Life Challenge, and I'm thankful that even after the challenge, I still have been working on my time management, task management. For the first 2 months of the year, I still was filling out those forms. Now I just do it in my notebook. I said I'm gonna create, and I think you know what I'm talking about, Tiffany, the 21, because to trying to be consistent as it relates to trying to get my schedule and time in order. He said, Jill, until you can be consistent with me, you won't be consistent with anything. And he said, once you're consistent with one thing, you will be consistent with everything. I'm like, wow, because I would say on average, usually I'm good, getting into my word and stuff 3-4 days a week. I don't do it at the same time every day. I used to not as much, and that's what God told me. And he's been telling me to get up early and to be consistent and, all of this. So I got to confess, back in the day, it's not even that long ago, quite frankly. So, because he spoke that word to me less than a month ago. So, I would be snoozing on God and be like, I'm going to get up when I get up. I'm tired. I'm going to get up. I wasn't time sensitive at all. And these are some of the things I learned that it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So I want to first, let's clarify. It does make a difference. Because if you don't plan to get up at a certain time, you don't get up at a certain time, there's a reason why you plan to get up that time. And it's going to impact your day. Promise you that. So time management versus task management. Let's just chew on that for a moment. Because time management is when you, me, whoever, we're trying to control time. But we already know. Time waits for no man. Time waits for no woman. Time is going to tick and go, right? So that's the first thing. Then you have to think about, well, what's task management? If time management is us trying to control time, what is task management? Task management is us, you, me, controlling the task. What is the task that I need to accomplish in this moment? And, I'm going to say this because I think oftentimes we underestimate, and I have, because that's why we don't talk about this subject a lot, but we start to realize as we start to do programs, whether it's the Kingdom Builders program, the Love Like Crazy Attraction program, oftentimes, people struggle because they don't have their time management intact and they struggle with getting things done and they feel like they don't have enough time. They feel overwhelmed and overstretched. And I can tell you, in my years of singleness, before I started to kind of get my life together, if you will, I used to have those moments, and I didn't realize that frazzleness, that lack of preparation, that disorganization, that whatever mess was very unattractive. And it caused me to be depending more on other people, and really just caused a little more chaos in my day, and I didn't have peace. Okay, so understand that, like, it matters in every area of life. Okay, so anyway, I told you the difference between time management and task management. Time management is you trying to manage time. Task management is you managing your tasks. And I just want to give you a couple of things that I did that really helped me to have breakthroughs in this area. And the first thing was, and you can use this formula. You don't need the sheet. I can send you the sheet if you want me to send you the sheet, but use a formula. Each day you set aside time for God. Your first fruit. Even if you cannot, like, I get up early, you guys. I usually to work before 6:30. Okay. And I have like a 45-minute commute, 35-minute commute, something like that. Okay. So I get up early. So even if you can only give your first fruit to be 15 minutes, I'm highly encouraging you to have your first fruit to God the first thing you do in the morning. Okay, the first thing you do in the morning. You can do it in bed if you want. Sometimes I know it's easy because a lot of times you have your phone right there. Or you can have a designated area to pray and study and do whatever you're going to do to connect with God. But do that every day, the same time relatively. During the week, I do it an hour earlier than the weekend. I sleep in an hour later on the weekend. And during that time, I write out what do I want to say to God and what God is saying to me. I used to use Charles Stanley In Touch. Right now, I'm also doing another discipleship class, so I've been using some material from there. But if you don't have anything to use, you can use Charles Stanley In Touch devotion and just write out, what is God saying to me and what I want to say to God? Just write that out. And then the next thing I want to tell you, after you do that and give your first fruit, then you need to start thinking about what all you need to accomplish during the day. Because this is going to be a key thing. The key thing is you're going to need to set aside time slots and times to do whatever you need to do. Like, a lot of times we struggle with getting things done because we're not writing it down and we're not saying, okay, at this time, I'm going to complete this task. I'm telling you guys, I've had things that needed to be done for months, probably longer than months, for a long time, and they don't get done. Like, I keep pushing them off. I keep like, oh, I'm going to do this later. Is this something that you've been needing to do? Like, you was like, I should have did that like 4 months ago, but I haven't done it because I don't have time. It could be you just moved and you need to change your driver's license, or maybe you moved several months ago and you need to change your driver's license, or you got married and you haven't changed your last name. I mean, it could be numerous things. It could be something you needed to pay and you haven't paid it yet. What is it? Something that you should already did, but you haven't done because you just haven't set aside the time to do. Or it could be something that your investor that you need to do that you haven't set aside the time. So I want to encourage you that even tonight you can start doing this exercise, or no later in the morning. Write out, what is that day going to be for you? What are you going to be doing during the time? So what does I have? Plan your schedule, right? Schedule the activities. I have a cheat sheet here. Stick to the schedule. Stick to the schedule, because it doesn't make any sense to have a schedule if you're not sticking to it. Okay. The next thing is, I talked about the first fruit. Be okay with not finishing. I don't know. I was just telling myself, I'm like, I do not like to quit. OMG. I do not like to quit. And like, today is for the business side of things. I call it Mind Your Business Monday, right, you guys? So it's Mind Your Business Monday. So on Monday, I do things relating to the financial and tax and legal aspect of business, right? So on Mind Your Business Monday is legal, tax, and financials. So I was working on this financial project. I said I was going to set aside like 2 hours to work on a financial project. But I find that after 2 hours, I was like, dang, Jill, your time's up to be working on this activity. But I did not want to stop. And I guess I feel like, and so let me know if you guys resonate with me on this, because this sometimes it could be a blessing and a curse. Hey, Kay Elizabeth, we're talking about tasks and time management. Like, I guess you saw that from the title. But anyway, I don't like to quit, you guys. So I found that after my time was up, I did not want to quit. I'm like, oh my God, why do I not want to quit? Like, I need to stop and move on to the next thing. But because I hadn't completed the task, like, I still have more financial records. I was actually reconciling some of the finances for a particular month. And I wasn't finished. And I didn't want to stop until I was finished, you know. And I was like, you know, just kind of talking to myself and reflecting about that. Like, self, you don't like to quit. And you know what? It's a good thing not to want to quit. However, sometimes when we have a schedule to meet, we have to be time sensitive. Okay? And I'm telling you, I believe, and we're praying that it's reversed, but I believe that my family had a curse of being late and had a late spirit. That's how I am. Have to get it done. Yes. I feel like, oh my God, let me just finish. I'm going to be done. I'm almost finished. I'm mentally tired, physically tired. You know what I'm saying? Got something else to do and don't want to quit. But, you know, what I was saying is, I believe that in my family, we had a generation curse of just being late and all that. So I found that I was not time sensitive. Thank you. I was not time sensitive at all. Like, I would always just be like, oh, I'm gonna give it 10 minutes. I'm gonna give it 20 minutes. I'm just gonna do another hour. Thank you, queens, for giving me all the hearts. Love you guys. You know what I mean? But we have to be time sensitive. If there's some place that we got to be in, something we got to do, and we have a schedule, you must stick to it. You must stick to the schedule, because there's no sense in having a plan if you're not going to stick to the plan. Okay. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. Thanks for the hearts. So be okay with not finishing. And it's not like you're quitting, and it's not that you're not going to finish. You just need to allocate some more time the next day or later that week to come back and finish the task. And you will. Because the day I did that earlier, I was supposed to finish around 11:30. I said, okay, self, stop. So I stopped and I left out, and I said, you know what, self, if you have more time when you come back home today, if you have extra time, then you can work back on that project. And that's what I did. So don't feel like you're quitting. Sometimes you just need to manage that time. Okay, what's the last thing I have here? Oh, delegate. I like to talk about that. Delegate, you guys, if there is something you can delegate. And even with this task, the financial records, that's something really Tiara does. But this was one thing I had to kind of go back and catch up on. I have that problem. My husband would find me doing it at midnight still. Yeah, and we have to be careful, because I'll tell you, and I just thank God, because God's really been dealing with me, like, for real, like, for the last 3-4 months. Because I remember, like, before I started that challenge, when I was doing the release of the book, The Biggest Lies Women Believe, OMG, I would keep going. My back was hurting. I was going for 10, 15 hours, not 15, I would say 10 hours straight. I would work from 8 a.m., well, maybe 15 hours. I would work all day, you guys. And I started to realize, like, my body could not handle that. I was like, my body was breaking down. And that's why I started talking about taking breaks. And I was like, we need to do this life challenge. And I need to get out of this, because it's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's not healthy for you to keep going like you some energetic buzzy. You know what? I'm going to post this video that I was just watching. Actually, Treal shared it with me. I'm going to share it with you guys on the group, that talks about, you have to, all of us, we have to manage our time and energy capacity. Let me check the time. I got 5 minutes, you guys. We have to manage our energy and time capacity, because I think it's a common thing that everybody knows that we don't have unlimited. Everybody's very clear. You don't have unlimited time, but do you realize you don't have unlimited energy? So that means is you cannot do everything and still be prepared and ready to do everything. Like, there's some limitations to your energy, and you have to really tie into that, tap into that and be conscientious. And I'll talk again from my personal testimonial. I used to find myself, oh my God, I'm tired. Well, yeah, you're tired. You've been working on the computer for 14 hours straight. You're going to be tired. Or, you work 10 hours at the investor and come home and work 4 or 5 hours. Today, I told my husband, on the days that I'm working at my investor, I'm working at my business 2 hours. That's all I can afford to do, because I need to exercise. I need to prepare meals. I need to clean my house. I need to engage and stay connected with my community and family. And so don't be doing that. It's okay to stop. Just schedule some more time. And sometimes, let me say this last thing. I cannot talk about this without saying this really quick. You guys, when you look at your time and tasking, see it as having a plate, okay? See it as having a plate, and you are the owner of that plate. Everything on that plate, you have either put it there or allow it to be there. And if you feel that plate is full, you got the cornbread, the roll, the roast beef, rice, whatever, potatoes, and the plate is like overflowing and there's not enough room for anything else on that plate and it's like weighting down, then you, as the owner, as the regulator, as the controller, as the manager of that plate, need to realign that plate. You may need to take some things off, and you have to understand that everything has a season, right? You may be doing certain things in the wrong season, and your season may be up for certain things. So you guys keep that in mind, because really this time and task management is really a big deal. I talked about it a little bit earlier. God wants you to have love, joy, peace, right? He wants you to exemplify that. That's part of the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5. It talks about that. We cannot have peace, we cannot have joy, and we cannot have love if we're overwhelmed, frustrated, stretched, and unhealthy. Okay. God wants us to be healthy, and we have to take ownership and I guess you could say just ownership in the fact that we are responsible. You are responsible for how you allow your energy and time to be used. Understand that it's not unlimited. Manage it, and be good stewards of your time. Be good stewards of your energy. Okay, I have a call in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So I'm going to hop off. I hope this has been a blessing to somebody. If this has blessed you, tap the screen. Just say, yes, I received this. It's my plate. I have control of it. If, my plate has been heavy, I'm going to release some things from my plate. You may have to release some things. Certain seasons I serve in the youth ministry. Certain seasons I don't. Right now I'm in a season where I'm working in a discipleship class. It was a season I was in graduate school. But when I was in graduate school, I realized I could not get out more than once a week with friends and such. You got to understand the season you're in and be sensitive to your needs, your physical needs, your emotional needs, your mental needs, because we don't want to be overwhelmed and overstretched. And I want to be a good manager of my tasking and my time for Periscope has ended. Thank you guys for the hearts. Let me know what you want to hear about. And join us we got Power Out Wednesday. I don't remember the number for Power Out Wednesday. I don't remember the phone number offhand, but what you could do is join us at DMI Fabulous I Am members on Facebook, and we will post the number there. You can join us for Power Out Wednesday. We're going to have some juicy stuff for you. And make sure you mark your calendar for the Fabulous I Am conference. Love you guys. I got to go. It's 6:30 on the dot. Bye-bye.